Guys, so today I'm going to start off by moisturizing my face with a little bit of beauty oil. I have a lot of dry patches around my mouth and I don't want my foundation to stick to it. So after I'm done with that, I'm actually going to go back in with my moisturizer and put it all over my face. You should always moisturize your face before you apply foundation. Now I am priming my face with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, per usual, it's my favorite, and letting it dry. Today's foundation is the Maybelline Dream Velvet, and I am just dotting that all over my face, and some of the areas where I have more redness, I'm concentrating those dots. Using my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, I am going to press that in with an up and down motion, a bouncing motion all over my face to get that nice and smooth. Now, some people drag this across their face. I think it's better if you just use a bouncing motion up and down. That's what gives you that airbrushed, really flawless finish, and it's not going to pick up as much product or move it around. This really presses it into the pores, into the primer. So you end up with a really smooth, really clear looking complexion, and I really think that this is my new favorite way to apply foundation. So using my favorite Maybelline Age Rewind concealer, I am putting that down the bridge of my nose, underneath my eyes, on the Cupid's bow, forehead, and then I have a blemish on the side of my mouth that I also went and concealed. And this is actually serving as my highlight. So spraying my face with a MAC Fix Plus, I am taking the beauty sponge and I am blending that out. I like to spray the Fix Plus ahead of time because it really helps me blend it out, and I don't think my sponge picks up as much of the product either. I'm also using this concealer as my eyeshadow primer, so I'm smoothing some of that over my lid as well. Using the Maybelline Master Fix Translucent Powder, I'm going to take a little bit of that powder and press that into the under eye concealer. This will help prevent creasing. I don't know about you, but I struggle with creasing underneath my eyes, so I like to take a little bit of powder right after I get done blending that out and press it in. Using a big fluffy brush and what's left of that powder, I'm going to press that in all over my face. I am not swirling this, I am not dragging it along my face, I am pressing because I don't want to move any of that foundation that I put down. Now I'm picking up some more of that translucent powder on my beauty sponge, and I am going to bake underneath my eyes. This will really help keep your concealer in place throughout the day and also brighten up the under eye area. This is a really great trick. This helps with perspiration, anywhere where you might be resting your hand on the side of your chin, or if you're touching your eyes, or if you have a blemish. Baking is really a good idea. It's really going to help create a barrier in between the environment and your face. So now taking the Morphe 35O palette and this big Real Techniques fluffy brush, I'm taking the lightest color in that palette and I am putting it all over the lid, all the way up into the brow bone. This is just setting that concealer that I put on my eye. And I'm taking the light brown shade that's in that first line there, and I'm starting to blend that into my crease using a really light hand. Now keep in mind, one thing when you're applying eyeshadow, wherever you press that brush down onto your eyelid first is where the darkest concentration of that product is going to go. So make sure that you're not doing it, towards the inner corner of the eye. You're really focusing most of that pigmentation in the outer corner of the eye. That's going to give you more of an opened eye look, and it's also going to help with the blending later. So just keep blending that into the crease like I'm doing here. I'm slowly building up the color. This is my transition shade, so I'm bringing it up a little bit higher onto the brow bone area. As you can see, I have quite a bit of area in between my lid and my brow bone, so I bring it up a little bit higher because it kind of just ties everything together. So taking another fluffy brush in a darker brown shade, this is a reddish brown, I'm going to concentrate that a little bit lower in my crease underneath that transition shade, and I'm just taking a light hand and I'm slowly building up that color to deepen the crease and add more depth to our shadow. Now you want to make sure that this is being blended underneath the transition shade, because if you blend over top of it, while you have too much color or too much pigment on the brush, you're going to kind of cancel out the transition shade. And this is how you get that really nice gradient in your eyeshadow. So it'll be, you know, from brow bone to lid will be light to dark, and it really creates a nice smooth eyeshadow, and I think it's very pretty, so I recommend using that trick. Now taking a smaller blending brush, I am going to press some of that same darker color all over the lid. Picking up a little bit more on my brush and doing the other side. As you can see, I'm not bringing this up farther than the lid. I'm concentrating it right on my lid, because that's where I want the darkest color to be. Now taking that transition shade that we used originally, I'm going to smooth out the edges of my lid color and just blend everything together. Now taking a flat shader brush, I'm picking up the gold metallic shade that's in the 350 palette, and I am pressing that onto the center of my lid and slowly blending it out towards the edges. And then taking that smaller crease brush again, I'm just blending in some of that darker color so there's no harsh lines. Now picking up that red brown shade again, I'm going to smoke out my lower lash line. I wanted this look to be very bronzy, very focused on the eyes. I wanted it to be more of a soft smoky. I didn't want any harsh, cool, dark tones. I think this look looks really nice on blue eyes especially, so that's why I like to wear it. It's a fun summer color, but you could also do it in the fall with a darker lip. So now I'm just filling in my brows with my favorite Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Blonde. And I'm looking down into the mirror. I will be posting a brow tutorial soon on how I do my brows, but for this video I kind of cut out some of the footage so you can see how I start to shape out my brows, and so it wouldn't end up taking too much time. Now I like to go for a more natural brow look. I do not carve out my brows like a lot of people do. I think with my blonde hair, sometimes I really like to have more of a natural brow look because I think it's very pretty. So I'm going to wipe away the bake with my big fluffy brush using a light hand. I'm not pressing too hard, I'm not dragging too hard, and have conditioner in my ear apparently because I just took a shower. Sorry. And taking my Physicians Formula bronzer in medium dark, I am starting to carve out my cheekbones. This is going to serve as the guide for my contour. Now you could stop here like I did in my previous video. I just used the bronzer, didn't really go in with any contour shade, but for today's video I am going to deepen up that contour a little bit. I'm just bronzing up the skin first. Now taking the Kat Von D Shade Light palette, I'm going to mix the first two colors in that palette together, start carving out those cheekbones, adding a little bit more cool tone into my bronzer because my bronzer has a very warm hue to it. As you can see on my neck, my tan is actually a very warm color. I just tend to get really golden in the sun, so I like to make my contour match that. So taking some more of that bake on my beauty sponge, I'm going to carve out my contour. This is one way to do it. I did post another way to do it in my previous tutorial, so if you're interested in learning another way to carve out your contour, check it out. Taking that Shade Light palette again on an angled eyeshadow brush. This is a very dense brush, but it's not stiff. So I am taking my hand very lightly, just barely touching my nose. I'm carving out the sides of my nose to elongate the shape. And this will really slim the nose. So if you're trying to figure out a way to maybe contour your nose without using a liquid contour, I really recommend getting a small angled eyeshadow brush and doing it that way. Adding a quick coat of mascara to my eyelashes. I'm going to prep my lashes for some falsies. Now you could stop here. You could just pick up your favorite mascara and then call it a day, which I normally do. To be honest, I don't wear fake lashes all the time, but for this look, I really thought that I wanted it to be bronzy and a huge focus on the lashes. So I'm just putting on a pair of false eyelashes here and adding a coat of mascara to my bottom lashes. Another trick, if you have long bottom eyelashes and you have problems with getting the mascara underneath the lash line and smudging it, you can try tilting your applicator vertically instead of horizontally and sweeping back and forth. That sometimes helps, just like I'm doing right here, sweeping back and forth vertically. That helps so you're not touching underneath your lash line as much. It really works great for really long lower lashes. Taking my NYX Ombre blush and the lightest color on the top, on my Real Techniques blush brush, I am just sweeping some of that color over my cheeks. This is a really nice peach tone. It's super pretty. It has kind of a shimmer in it. I went a little overboard, as you can see, so I'm just taking my fluffy brush with some of that powder and fixing it. And now I'm spraying my face with some MAC Fix Plus because my skin was really dry, and this will help my Mary Luminizer that I'm putting on right now, my highlight, stick to my skin. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. Like, girl, I swear you could see me from outer space when I put this thing on because I bathe in it. I love it. Look at it. It's beautiful. I'm sorry. I know. I talk about this in every single video. It's still my favorite highlighter. I'm sorry, it just is. And there you have it. That's the final look. If you liked it, please like, share, comment this video, subscribe to my channel because we're starting out and we're really excited about posting some more videos. So please share your support, share your stories. Love you.